Good evening. It's a 5 p.m. The quorum is present. The proceedings can be begin. Over to you, Mr. Suresh Bachalkura.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I, Suresh Bachalkura, Company Secretary, on behalf of your company and its Board of Directors, welcoming you all to the 25th Annual General Meeting of Moship Technologies Limited. We are conducting this AGM through video conference, other video and audio means, as per the circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. Facility for joining this meeting through video conference facility is made available on first come first served basis. Members present by default will be on mute mode by the host to avoid disturbances and ensure the smooth conduct of the meeting. As the AGM is being held through video conference, the facility for appointment of proxy by the member was not applicable, and hence the proxy registry is not available for the inspection. The company had provided the facility for remote e-voting, and the same was open from Wednesday, 25th September 2024 at 9 a.m. till Friday, 27 September 2024 till 5 p.m. The process for login for participating in the AGM was intimated in the notice convening, and the process for e-voting was covered in the notice of the meeting and also an email to the shareholders separately. We have provided the facility for shareholders to speak during the meeting who has registered by email as speaker shareholders. The speaker shareholders will be allowed to speak during the meeting. The names of speaker shareholders will be announced one by one by the host. The host will give you appropriate access to the concerned shareholders to speak once the chairman opens the floor for Q&A session. Participation of members through video conference is being reckoned as a quorum as per the circulars issued by the MCA and Section 103 of the Companies Act. I confirm that the requisite quorum is being presented through video conference, and I request Mr. K. Pradeep Chandra Garu to chair the meeting and start the proceedings of the 25th Annual General Meeting.
Thank you, Suresh. Dear valued shareholders of Moship, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Moship and its Board of Directors, I once again extend a very warm welcome to each one of you to the 25th AGM of your company. We are conducting this year's AGM through video conference as per the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. Before we start the proceedings, I would like to introduce my colleagues who have joined through video conference. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Srinivas Kakamanu, Managing Director of the company. Mr. D.G. Prasad, Independent Director and Chairman of the Audit Committee and member of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee and Risk Management Committee. Mrs. Madhurika Nalluri Venkat, Independent Director and Chairperson of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee and Stakeholders Relationship Committee and member of the Audit Committee. Mr. Vinendra Parvathineni, Non-Executive Director, and Mr. Jairam Sosala, Chief Planning Officer. Leave of absence is given to Mr. Damodara Gummadapu, Naveed Ahmed Sharwani, and Mr. G. Pranav Reddy. I do confirm the Chairman of the Audit Committee, Nomination and Remuneration Committee, Stakeholders Relationship Committee, and Risk Management Committee are present for this meeting. I also confirm the presence of Mr. M.T. Srinivas Rao, Statutory Auditor from Messrs. S.T. Mohite and Company, Chartered Accountant, Hyderabad, and Mr. S. Srikanth, Secretarial Auditor from Messrs. BSS and Associates, Practicing Company Secretaries, Hyderabad. I thank all the members, colleagues on the board, management team, and auditors for joining this meeting through video conference. I wish all of you safe and good health. Financial year 23-24 was a good year for Moship and in line with its long-term goals for your company. On a consolidated basis, the income from operations grew to rupees 293.91 crores from rupees 198.35 crores, registering a growth of 48.18% year on year. The earnings before interest, depreciation, and tax (EBITDA) stood at rupees 36.20 crores, while that of the previous year stood at 29.36 crores. The consolidated results showed a profit after tax (PAT) for the year at rupees 9.88 crores as against 6.17 crores of the previous year. On a standalone basis, the income from operations for this year stood at rupees 222.84 crores as against 171.20 crores for the preceding year, registering a growth of 30.16% year on year. Standalone profit after tax for the financial years 23-24 was rupees 6.22 crores as against net profit of rupees 5.27 crores in the previous year. It is the continued support and unwavering trust of the shareholders of Moship that will enable your company to embark on a growth plan for the years ahead. The notice convening the meeting, the director's report along with annexures, the annual accounts along with the auditor's report, secretarial audit report, and the 25th annual report have been with you for quite some time, and with your permission, I will take them as read. Now I request the Company Secretary Suresh to explain about the e-voting.
Thanks, Chairman. The financial statements, together with the report of directors, statutory auditors, and secretarial auditors for the financial year 23-24 has already been circulated. I request the members to permit me to take the audit report and secretarial audit report as read, since there were no qualifications in the said reports. Before we proceed, I'm pleased to bring to the notice that as required under the Companies Act 2013, the company has provided you all the facility to cast the vote electronically on all resolutions set forth in the notice. There are three resolutions which require approval of the shareholders in this AGM. Members who have not cast vote electronically and who are participating in the meeting will have opportunity to cast the vote through the e-voting facility provided by KFin Technologies Limited. Members may please note that there will be no voting by showing of hands. BSS and Associates practicing company secretaries Hyderabad have been appointed as scrutinizers for the e-voting process. Mr. Yash Srikanth from BSS and Associates is present in the AGM today. The voting results along with the scrutinizer report will be declared within 2 working days, and the same will be intimated to the stock exchange and hosted on your company's website. Thank you. Over to the chairman.
Thank you, Suresh. Now I request Mr. Srinivasa Kakmanu, your MD and CEO of your company, to give a brief presentation on the financial and operational performance of the company.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Hello. Good evening, dear valued shareholders. Welcome to AGM. I would like to give a brief presentation on the company performance in FY24, and I would also like to touch base upon the individual BU performance and the kind of strategy that we have actually employed and are planning to employ, going forward. And I'm also planning to actually give you some industry update in the 2 segments that we basically operate in. One is semiconductors, the other one is software system design and product engineering, right? So Praveen, can you go to the next slide? So this is the agenda for this presentation, FY24 performance, and I would also like to mention our recent history so that we would actually understand how your company is growing over the last 3-4 years, and the 2 business units that we basically have and their performance summary is something that I'm going to talk about. And there are a couple of other major highlights that I would like to talk about. And the industry update for semicon and software and systems is another agenda topic that I will touch base upon. And as I said, Mass-Chip's strategy, for FY24 and beyond is another one that I'm going to actually talk about. And again, as a company, we've been actually attending a lot of industry events to basically, improve our presence in the industry. And this is also going to help us in the branding. And when the company attends industry events, we would also know what is happening at the industry level. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of the industry events that we were actually part of. And I've also included a couple of CSR initiatives that we have actually taken, and then I will conclude it. Praveen, can you go to the next slide? So FY24 performance, I've actually captured some of the financials here, but at the end of my presentation, I will have our CFO Jairam to talk about the numbers a little bit more detail. But in FY24, obviously we made around 293.9 crores, and this is about 48% growth compared to FY23. We made around 198.4 crores. And the PBT, profit before tax, actually stands at 11.33. This has actually grown from 6.24 crores from FY23 to 11.33 in FY24. And the most important thing is, even though the FY24, especially the second part of the FY24, was a little bit of a slowdown in the industry, we've been able to add 12 new customers right in FY24. And the other thing is, we actually believe in having a very strong leadership in engineering, business development, operations, and we have strengthened our leadership in all those three fronts. Can you move to the next slide, Praveen? Yeah, if you look at our recent performance over the last 3-4 years, you would understand how your company has been actually growing. In FY21, we made about 105 crores. In FY24, we made around 293.9 crores. And approximately we have actually tripled in about 3 years. And we've been growing at more than 35% CAGR over the last 3 years. Move to the next slide. And these are the two business units that we basically have. Semiconductor is one BU, and the other BU is software system design and product engineering. Under semiconductors, we are actually working on developing some mixed signal IP ourselves, and we are also focusing on IP porting business for our customers worldwide. And we've been pretty strong on the design services side, and we continue to strengthen our leadership position in design services. And turnkey ASICs is one area that we started actually focusing, and we have had a very good presence in turnkey ASICs during FY24. And coming to software system design and product engineering, and we've been focusing on embedded software and system design, and we've also started focusing on digital engineering. When I talk about the individual BUs performance and the strategy, I will touch base on digital engineering a little bit. And as you know, we have Masterchip Institute of Silicon Systems, which is our training and innovation center to support our R&D and growth plans. And MISS has been actually helping us in training the campus hires and constantly feeding very well-trained engineers to these BUs. That is something that we will continue to do. Yeah, next slide, please. So now coming back to semiconductor BU as an individual BU performance, we have, three lines of business, majorly on the design services and of course IP and then turnkey ASIC. On the design services, we have stable engagements and all the customers have actually stayed with us. And that actually shows that we've been able to deliver excellence over the last few years. And 10 of the top 20 semicon companies are our customers, and our relationship with them keep growing. And we also have offshore design center engagements, ODCs, for tier 1 customers. And in fact, we have actually added one more ODC for an ASIC company, which is headquartered in Japan in FY24. And Tenstorrent, an AI chip company that is basically building AI CPU cores, CPU cores for AI and HPC workloads, has selected Masterchip as their design services partner. This is one of the very significant achievements that your company has seen in FY24. And we were involved in more than 50 ASIC tapeouts for various foundries in FY24. And the company has started investing in building emulation expertise because this is one area that we believe there is going to be a lot of room for us to actually grow. On the IP side, as you are aware, we are working on Smart Energy Meter IC, and as part of that IC development, we started actually building individual IPs. And the IP porting work, that is a significant business that we are servicing at this point in time. And there are a couple of offshore design centers for IP porting, and that relationship is constantly growing, and it actually grew in FY24. Please go to the next slide. And on the turnkey ASICs, we have actually handled 3 turnkey projects in FY24. This is basically all the way from design all the way to providing silicon to our customers. And these 3 turnkey projects I mean, we are actually excluding the CDAC project. Okay. Excluding the CDAC project, I mean, we handled like 3 turnkey projects in FY24. This is a significant growth, I mean, compared to the previous years. And we continue to strengthen our teams to handle multiple turnkey projects. And we basically have a strong pipe in this area. Apart from design services and IP porting business that we have established ourselves as leaders in the industry, we would like to focus on turnkey ASICs and grow that business as well. So this is about Semicon BU. Let's move on to the next slide. So on the software system design and product engineering, as you are aware, I mean, we acquired Softnodics last year. The integration of the company has been actually done. Okay. And that has strengthened our software system design and product engineering teams. And we started, I mean, we continued to invest in building device engineering expertise, which is like a device drivers, core BSP, firmware, and software. And we have also started investing in digital engineering because we believe digital engineering has a lot of TAM market, and we would like to basically grab opportunities that digital engineering is going to offer us. And second time in a row, we were awarded Partner par Excellence for software by Qualcomm. And this basically shows our leadership position in the software services that we basically provide to our customers. And we've also strengthened our FPGA solutions group, and we will continue to do that. And we did quite a few projects in multimedia, which is audio, video, home automation, IoT, Internet of Things, satellite, and automotive applications. Okay, this actually sums up the performance for the software system design and product engineering BU. Okay, move to the next slide. And there are 2 major highlights that actually happened in 2024. As you are aware, I mean, we were basically awarded HPC processor SoC development project by CDAC in May this year. And we are actually excited about this project. And this project kicked off on July 1st. And in June, as you know, I mean, we basically applied for developing smart energy meter IC under a DLI scheme, and our application got approved in June, and we started actually working on smart energy meter IC development as well. And these 2 are, I mean, extremely important milestones that your company basically has witnessed in 2024. Move to the next slide, Praveen. And I thought I would give an update on the semiconductor. And as you know, the industry is infamously cyclical. And in 2023, there was basically a decline, as you could actually see in the graph. And in 2024, it basically started slowly picking up. And Indian government and the CHIPS Act in US, and there is a lot of what you call push for semiconductors across the world. And all this, I mean, focus on semiconductors is expected to actually offer us a lot of opportunities to serve. And India's push for self-reliance in semiconductor is definitely going to actually help us in winning, I mean, more business in semiconductor industry. And this semiconductor sales is about, I mean, it was about 188, is expected to be about $588 billion, I mean, this calendar year, and it is expected to reach $1 trillion by 2030. Okay, and the growth drivers for the industry are the automotive, 5G, and AI, and they basically continue to lead the growth that we are going to witness in the industry. Okay, move to the next slide. And this basically gives an overview of how embedded systems market size is actually going to expand, and the digital transformation market is actually going to expand. And by 2032, the embedded systems market is expected to grow to $250 to $60 billion, whereas digital is going to grow to, say, $12.35 trillion by 2032. IoT, AI, Gen AI, cyber security are going to be the main drivers. And digital engineering is one area that, as I said, we are going to focus under this BU, because we believe there are plenty of opportunities that we can actually service, and that is going to be a growth area for this BU in the years to come. Please go to the next slide. And Masterchip strategy 2024 and beyond. Again, this is our 25th AGM, and as you might actually guess, we have recently celebrated 25th anniversary of our inception in July 2024. And I would like to once again, thank you all our valued shareholders, board members, my colleagues, the founders, and the previous leadership, and the families of our employees. Because without whom it is not actually possible for a company to run for these many years and doing well, right? And let's take a snapshot of 2024 for your company. We have actually seen steady growth over the last 3-4 years, and majority of revenues are coming from semiconductor and embedded design services. When I say embedded, it is embedded software and system design, and it is RTL design, design verification, physical design, analog functions, and turnkey projects have been our revenue generating venues for us. And when you actually look at the opportunity, because there is a regional push for self-reliance, and also due to geopolitical situation, we believe there are a lot of opportunities for us to serve, and domestic opportunities, right? The EV, electric vehicles, automotive, IoT is expected to increase the opportunities for us. And again, as I said, for Semicon BU, turnkey ASICs is definitely going to pose or present us with a lot of opportunities going forward. And the application specific standard products, right? ASSPs. And one of the ASSP that we are developing, as you know, Smart Energy Meter IC, and we will continue to work on it and continue to work on derivative products. The opportunity for us, both in semicon and software, is actually going to be driven by the AI, generative AI, and digital transformation the world is actually seeing, right? And the strategy, right? We will continue to grow in design services, whatever we've been actually providing design services, whatever functions that we've been focused. That is something that will continue to grow. And for semicon, as I said earlier, we will add emulation to our portfolio, and we will continue to invest in R&D, because the industry is is fast growing, and it is evolving, and innovation is the key. And if we do not stay relevant by not keeping ourselves up to date, then it is actually going to be a serious problem for our growth. And hence, we will continue to invest in R&D, and we will also we are also planning to develop expertise in emerging areas. As I said, AI, ML, IoT, automotive, and RISC-V, because there is a greater push on RISC-V. This is basically an open source CPU architecture. RISC-V based CPU cores are actually being built all over the world, and we would like to we continue to build expertise in RISC-V. And we've also identified a roadmap for standard products, and one of the product, as you know, Smart Energy Meter IC under DLI scheme, we are working right now. And of course, the turnkey ASIC opportunities we will continue to pursue, and the CDAC HPC execution expertise is only going to help us in growing our turnkey ASIC story. Okay, and we will continue to invest in digital engineering, and of course we are always open for acquisitions. We believe in both organic and inorganic growth, where whenever we find right opportunity, and if the acquisition is actually going to help us in realizing our sooner than later, and if the culture alignment is actually there, then we would go ahead and acquire companies. And of course, all these opportunities do not come without any challenges. The cyclical nature of the industry is always going to be a challenge, and recent slowdown is basically a witness of that. And talent acquisition and retention, right? Because some of these skills are niche, and the availability of the talent is scarce, and a lot of companies are what you call bidding for the same kind of talent, and hence, I mean, talent acquisition is always going to be a challenge, and retaining them, right? So your company continues to basically build the talent through our training institute, right? That is one thing. And we also take care of employees by giving them great opportunities, and also paying them on par with the market. That is how. And the other thing is, I mean, we also provide the employee stock options, and this is going to be a long-term benefit the employees will have, and that is expected to help us to retain our engineers. Go to the next slide. Yeah, and a few industry events where your company was actually part of in FY24, and I moderated a panel discussion on ESDM opportunities in India at VLSI Design Conference in Kolkata in January 2024, and I was also a keynote speaker at Program Managers Global Summit, and I talked about India. I mean, developing India into a hub for the semiconductor industry supply chain. And we also participated in TSMC North American Symposium, and we were also part of Semicon India conferences and IESA Vision Summits. And one of our colleagues actually gave a keynote at IESA AI Summit in December last year. So these are some of the industry events that your company was actually part of. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. And one of the CSR activities that I would like to share with you is 2% of our average net profits over the last 3 years has been donated to Osmania University ECE department, and they are planning to basically transform their open garden into a learning space that is expected to actually help the engineers to use that space in a very, very effective manner. This is one activity that we actually did in FY24. And we've also initiated an I3 program, which we call it Industry Institute Initiative. And we ran a first batch, because what we believe in is, I mean, at the engineering institutes, right, either at MTech level or BTech level, if the students are actually taught fundamentals, and students are taught relevant topics that are actually going to be useful for the industry, then the students are going to be better prepared to step into industry and then become productive right away. So keeping that in mind, we basically partnered with some institutes, and we ran our first batch of I3 initiative, and we will continue to do that, because I mean, the feedback that we actually got from this program was pretty encouraging, and hence, I mean, we would like to continue this. And this is one way your company is actually giving an uplift to those institutes, and the students that are studying there are going to be prepared for their future, right, to step into either semicon industry or the software industry. Yeah. Please move on to the next slide, Praveen. Yeah, I want to conclude by saying that I mean we've been your company has been actually seeing steady growth, and we've been delivering excellence to our customers, and we continue to invest in R&D and innovation. There is a clear roadmap for us as far as the application specific standard products are concerned, and one of the products is the Smart Energy Meter IC. And there are new service offerings. One is emulation under Semicon, and digital engineering for software and systems and product engineering BU. And we will continue to invest and strengthen our turnkey capability, and we will continue to pursue turnkey ASIC opportunities. And that is where we actually see the growth coming from. And of course, we'll continue to grow both organically and through acquisitions. And the reputation and branding for your company has been on the rise over the last 2-3 years, and that is something that we will continue to actually uphold. And last but not the least, your company is very well positioned to support customers worldwide by hiring and nurturing experienced engineers, and staying relevant to the industry's trends, and keep cross training the engineers to just make sure that the engineers are very well prepared for the upcoming projects with the changing technology. Right. With that, I conclude my presentation. And before we go back to Chairman Sir, I would like Jairam to basically give a little bit more detail on the financials. Over to you, Jairam.
Thank you, KS. Good evening, directors. Good morning, directors, and good evening to all the shareholders. And I have around 4 slides where I will give some details about the company performance in the last year. And most of the things which I will be speaking directly or indirectly, the CEO and the MD has touched upon them, starting from the BU performances and where the company will be positioned, about talking about the Mossip Institute of Silicon Systems and so on and so forth. But this slide, which is in front of us, will speak about our financial performance in a single slide. What we try to do is we try to collect all the data, which we call it as industry critical points, and these are the points which are foremost very much important for a design service solution company to move forward. So if you look at it, I think year-on-year growth, we had 48%. The revenue turned out to be 294 crores, and at an operating margin of 12%. As KS told, we have been heavily investing on our talent pool and building up the skill sets across various domains in VLSI and software. This will help us in moving forward with a lot of strength. In one of the slides which KS has told, that the CEO has told there are 12 new customers which are added, and most of the customers are tier 1 customers. So we service majority of the tier 1 global customers, and we penetrated into them. As of now, when we speak, we have around 1250 is the headcount, which we have global headcount. And with the Softnotics acquisition, we have added 2 new locations in our office space. One is in Ahmedabad and Pune. We had 3 earlier. We had 2, and along with it becomes 5. So as of now, if you look at it, I think we have around 32% of our whole of our employees are women. So this gives us a lot of leverage, and a very, very healthy diversity in terms of the ability to drive the operations. And as we speak, thanks to all the shareholders, and our company has moved on to the 4,600 market cap. Technically, it is in $500 million. The company has crossed $500 million in terms of dollars as on 26th September. And with respect to the attrition, when we speak, one important aspect is thanks to the management, thanks to directors, thanks to shareholders for all the policies which they have framed up over a period of time, and the steady decision making, the steady leadership, by which I think we can happily say that our attrition rate is moderate when you compare it with the industry. So that essentially means that we have a lower attrition rate, higher retention rate. Next slide. So this is the revenue slide. CEO has given a very detailed, a very brief outline. But if you look at it, I think the most significant in this stuff is the CAGR of 31.2%. So I have given the data of last 5 years. because this gives us a kind of understanding where we will head to, where we are heading to. So if you look at it from FY20 to today, I think we were a 99 crore company in FY20, and then there's some policy making or some thought process has been changed where we deliberately communicated to the market that we'll slow down with respect to the government business and things like that. And today we look at it, we are a 294 crore company, and the growth rate is 48%. The growth rate is 48% when compared to previous year. Again, the mix of revenues, if you look at it, because currently we have two business units. One is the software/embedded semicon. So if you look at it, the split was like 77-23, it moved to 86 and 14 and things like that. But in one of the slides, if you look at it, the CEO was talking about the growth of software industry and the growth of semiconductor industry. And if you see, I think both the industries are very well poised to grow, and we have enough opportunities over there. So in line with that, if you look at it, I think this year 79% is contributed from semiconductor business. At a CAGR of 28%, we grew over a period of last 4 years. And embedded, if you look at it, I think it's around 21% share out of the total revenue. The growth is around 32.1% CAGR last 4 years. And again, I've listed on few of the reasons. These predominantly come from what the CEO was talking earlier about our business model and what is our thought process and how do we operate internally and things like that. Yeah. Next slide. There's operating profit and PAT. So this again, last 5-year data is there. So operating profit typically is nothing but the EBITDA, what I'm speaking. So it grew at CAGR of 47.4%, which is 47%. And PAT FY20 to 46 crore was the loss. Then it reduced to 9. Then it is 6, and 10. I think constantly the company has been showing the growth and CAGR of 22% over the period of last 4 years. And as CEO was talking a while back, there's an investment which is going on currently in various skill sets in VLSI and system software and product engineering services. These predominantly come from our Mossip Institute of Silicon System and Innovation Center, which we have, so that these all engineers whom we are training today will be helping us in our future projects and things like that. Next slide. So the net worth, if you look at it, I think we were 62 crore, and then today we are around 269 crores. Again, I've given the formula of net worth is nothing but is equal to equity assets, total assets minus the liabilities and things like that. And market cap, I think thanks to each one of you, each one of the shareholders, I think over the period of last 4-5 years, I mean, there is a tremendous amount of growth in terms of the company market cap. Thank you for having a lot of trust in us and in terms of our operations and our ability and things like that. Next slide. So these are the number of shareholders. I've given data till June, but as on date, if you look at it as on September, as we talk, we have around 220,000 shareholders. So when we correlate this slide with the earlier slide of market cap, I think that gives us a extreme amount of strength, because the kind of trust which each of the shareholders have been having in the company, and constantly at a steady pace, the number of shareholders have been increasing year on year. Again, thanks to all of you, and thanks to directors, thanks to CEO, and thanks to each and every employee of the company who has been typically a brand ambassador of the company and taking it forward. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Chairman Garu, you are on mute.
Thank you, KS and Jairam. That was a very detailed presentation. Before we move on to the question and answer session, I just want to mention that I think a number of doubts and questions that our esteemed shareholders may already have been answered in the presentation that has been made. But regardless, we'll just move on to the question and answer session. Suresh?
Yeah. Thanks, Chairman Garu. Before we go to Q&A session, there are some points to note for the convenience of speaker shareholders. The names of the speaker shareholders who register are being called one by one to speak. Kindly turn on your video when you project it on broadcast screen. Kindly unmute yourself to proceed to ask a question. Please mention your name, folio number, and the location from where you are joining the meeting. Each shareholder will have 1 minute for the questions. The MD and CFO will answer every shareholder questions at the end of all the questions. Now I request Praveen Chetirvedi garu to call one by one the speaker shareholders as per the serial number.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. So I would like to announce the name of the speaker shareholder one by one. Request all of the speaker shareholders to kindly remain on mute and wait for their turn. Our first speaker is Mr. Kamal Kishore Jhawar. May I request Mr. Kamal Kishore Jhawar to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your camera and speak. Mr. Kamal Kishore.
हेलो, मेरा आवाज आ रहा है सर?
जी आ रहा है.
ओके, थैंक यू सर. चेयरमैन सर और मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, ऑल डायरेक्टर को मेरा नमस्कार. आपका चेयरमैन इसी सब 30 मिनट्स का जो प्रेजेंस बताया बहुत अच्छा लगा. और लास्ट ईयर से कंपनी का ग्रोथ भी बढ़ा, प्रॉफिट भी बढ़ा और शेयर प्राइस भी बढ़ा. तो शेयर प्राइस हम नहीं सोच सके, अब वो इस साल 300 के ऊपर हम शेयर देख लिए. मैं इस कंपनी में जब पुराने फाउंडर थे, अब तो उन एक्सपायर्ड हो गए नहीं है. जब से मैं इस कंपनी में शेयर हूँ 2000 जब ये अपना सॉफ्टवेयर का पूरा बूम था, जब हमारे को आईपीओ का टेम्परेचर जब 500 रुपए का न्यूज था पर नहीं चला. जब मैनेजमेंट चेंज होते गया, आज ये मैनेजमेंट इतना तरक्की करके बताया कि शेयर होल्डर को आपकी तरफ से अच्छा रिटर्न मिला, हमको भी 2 पैसा का प्रॉफिट भी हुआ. और आज जब बता तो मैं समझता हूँ नेक्स्ट एग्जाम तक आज भी सेमीकंडक्टर का जो डिमांड चल रहा, तो ये सबसे पुरानी कंपनी है. ओल्ड इज ओल्ड कंपनी सेमीकंडक्टर में. तो मैं चाहता हूँ नेक्स्ट ईयर में हमारे को 4 फिगर में शेयर देखने को मिलेगा. और सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट का सर्विस अच्छा है सर. कभी भी हम मेल पे कुछ बताते हैं तो आंसर मिल जाता है, बैलेंस शीट में मिल जाता है. और हमारे स्कूल इंजीनियर का भी सर्विस बहुत अच्छा है. इसी तरह वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस रखिए. और हमारा कैफीन का सर्विस अच्छा है. इसी तरह वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस रखे. आते तो दशहरा दीपावली शुभकामना देता हूँ. और हमारे साथी जरा उनका एक लिंक में प्रॉब्लम है, थोड़ा बात करिए.
आदरणीय चेयरमैन सर, उपस्थित सभी डायरेक्टरगण और शेयर होल्डर साथियों, सब मेरा नाम आपके कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का ही नाम है मेरा सुरेश चंद जैन. और मैं इस कंपनी का बहुत ही पुराना शेयर होल्डर हूँ सर. और कई बार आपसे मिलने का चाहता. मैं 5-6 मीटिंग आपकी कोरोना के बाद में अटेंड कर चुका हूँ, पर अपनी किस्मत शायद खराब है जो आपसे मुलाकात नहीं हुई सर. मेरे पास थोड़े बहुत नहीं है, मेरे पास भी अच्छी क्वांटिटी के अंदर है. और मैं और कमल किशोर साथ में इस शेयर को खरीदे थे सर. और सर आपने जो अपनी टीम के साथ में जो कार्य किया, तो बहुत ही सफलतापूर्वक आप कंपनी को लेके गए. उसकी मैं और कमल किशोर श्रीकांत अनुमोदन करते हैं, स्वागत करते हैं सर. और मैं भगवान से यही प्रार्थना करता हूँ इसी प्रकार दिन दुनी रात चौगनी तरक्की करते हुए आप आगे के तरफ बढ़े. हमारा पूरा इसके अंदर सहयोग है और पूरे रेगुलेशन के अंदर हम सपोर्ट करते हैं सर. आपने जो बोलने का जो शुभ अवसर दिया उसके लिए धन्यवाद देते हुए मैं अपने विचारों को विराम देता हूँ. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Shrikant Jhawar. May I request Mr. Shrikant Jhawar to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your camera and speak. Mr. Shrikant.
सर, मेरा आवाज आ रहा है?
जी आ रहा है.
चेयरमैन और अपने श्रीकांत बोरवा से आपका निकाह में 15 साल पुराना शेयर होल्डर हूँ. ना मैं आपका चेयरमैन नहीं सुन सका, ना प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं देख सका सर. तो मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि अपना आगे 2 साल का फ्यूचर क्या है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइएगा सर. और अपना इसमें स्टेट और अपना डोमेस्टिक और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में कितना डिमांड है, उसके बारे में भी थोड़ा बताइए सर. और आते सो दशहरे दीपावली की भी शुभकामनाएं. जो हम शेयर प्राइस उम्मीद नहीं कर, उससे अच्छा हमको रिटर्न मिला. डिविडेंड से ज्यादा तो शेयर प्राइस में हमारा अच्छा रिटर्न मिला सर. और उम्मीद है कि अपना आगे 2 शेयर प्राइस या नेक्स्ट ईयर एग्जाम में 4 फिगर हो सकता है सर, आपकी कड़ी मेहनत से. तो इसी हम होप कर.
Mr. Shrikant has lost the connectivity. We are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Praful Chawda. May I request Mr. Praful Chawda to kindly unmute yourself and speak.
हेलो.
ये सर आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
थैंक यू सर. फर्स्ट तो कंपनी का सिल्वर जुबली ईयर की मैं शुभकामना देता हूं और आने वाला फ्यूचर अच्छा रहे इसकी भी शुभकामना देता हूं। सर आपने मीटिंग 5 बजे लगा है, बहुत अच्छा करे सर। नेक्स्ट फ्यूचर में कभी भी 5 बजे लगा है तो ब्रोकर जो है ट्रेडिंग करते हैं वो भी इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं और कहीं नौकरी करने वाले भी 5 बजे के बाद एजीएम अटेंड कर सकते हैं। तो 5 बजे का टाइम अच्छा है और साथ साथ में सितंबर एंड के बदले आप जुलाई या अगस्त में मीटिंग रखें तो और अच्छा रहता है। अभी ट्रैफिक इतना हो जाता है, ये जो एनएससी बीएससी सीडीएसएल में कि प्रॉब्लम होता है तो वो नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारे श्रीनिवास सर और जयरामा सर ने बहुत अच्छी तरह डिटेल से बताया और ऐसा दिखता है कि जो शेयर ने हमने ट्रस्ट रखा था, कंपनी को भरोसा रखे थे, तो भरोसा और मजबूत हो गया है और ऐसा लगता है कि फ्यूचर में शेयर बेचना नहीं चाहिए, तो हमारे पोतों के लिए रख देना चाहिए ताकि वो लोग आगे जाके एक बड़ी हवेली या बड़ा मकान बना सके, ऐसा दिख रहा है। आपकी कंपनी का गवर्नमेंट से आपको क्या बेनिफिट मिल रहा है अभी और फ्यूचर में क्या बेनिफिट लेने वाले हैं, इसके बारे में बताएंगे। और सर सिल्वर जुबली ईयर आप किस तरह मनाए पता नहीं है, पर मेरा एक सजेशन है कि जो स्पीकर शेड्यूल रहे या जिसने वोटिंग किया है उसको बुलाइए और गेट टुगेदर कुछ पार्टी रखे और सिल्वर जुबली एंजॉय करे, ऐसा भी मेरा एक सजेशन। सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट अच्छा काम करते हैं और एनी टाइम रिप्लाई मिल जाता है। हमारा सेक्रेटरी सर से लैंग्वेज प्रॉब्लम होता है तो भी उसकी बात मेरे को समझ में आ जाता है, मेरी बात उसकी समझ में आ जाता है और अच्छा दिखता है। एजीएम रिपोर्ट बहुत अच्छा बनाया और एक अच्छा इंप्रेशन होता है एजीएम रिपोर्ट देखने से भी, तो इसके लिए भी सेक्रेटरी टीम को मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ। आने वाले फेस्टिवल की शुभकामना। धन्यवाद सर।
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Celestine Elizabeth Mascarenas. May I request Celestine ji to kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, am I audible? I'll put the camera afterwards. No? Respected Chairman, Mr. Pradeep Chandra, MD Srinivas Rao, other members of the board, my dear fellow shareholders, I am Mrs. C. Mascarenas speaking from Mumbai. First of all, I thank the company secretary Suresh Bachal Kurma and his team for sending me an e-annual report and also registering me as a speaker and giving me this platform to speak. I would prefer a physical annual report. You can send it later. And a big thank you to KFIN people for giving me this platform where I can interact with in the comfort of my home. Our working is good, balance sheet is also good, and I'm very happy. This is the Silver Jubilee year, and we will definitely have some celebrations which the board thinks the best. Congratulations for all awards and accolades received during the year. Also, very good CSR work. Now I come to my queries. As you said in the presentation, many of my doubts are cleared because both people gave a very exhaustive presentation. So it was very, very educative and lot of insights. We have 12 new customers. Are they all local or international also? And I would like to know how many at present we have the existing follow-on orders. We are actually in two now, semiconductors and software system designing and product engineering. I would like to know where we have lot of revenues coming, demands, and where we are getting good margins in among these two. We have a very good, dedicated, innovative R&D. My question is, how many engineers are there in this sector, and what is their average age and attrition level? We have gone in digital engineering services. How much is the demand in this type of vertical, and also embedded systems? We have got some turnkey projects and smart meters. Could you throw a little more light on this? Next question is, how much challenges we are facing due to these geopolitical issues and how we are de-risking ourselves? especially the Red Sea issue. Lastly, but not the least, is the roadmap for the next 5 years, especially capex requirements for organic as well as inorganic growth, and which, according to the board, which will be the main engine, growth engine driver with better, good margins. With this, I wish you all the best. May God bless our company and make it more and more powerful as it is going. And lastly, but not the least, I'm sure this is 25th year, so there will be celebrations since we are away. You as something as a memory, so that I remember this is almost cheap. Some sort of, if nothing, then some sweets. That would be also okay as a remembrance. With this, I hand over to Mr. Aloysius Mascarenhas. He is the next speaker.
I'm the next speaker in the queue. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Please proceed. Thank you.
Can I proceed, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Respected Chairman, sir, very distinguished members, and my fellow shareholders. Good evening to you all. My name is Aloysius Mascarenhas. The management secretary and the team for sending me the annual report which I received on time. It is simple, informative, transparent, and adhering to all the parameters required for a good corporate governance. Our results are good as shown in facts and figures. We are doing very well in the semiconductor field. I don't know what are our main peers and competitors and what is our market share and our government policy in this regard, because the budget has shown many good incentives to entrepreneurs. So I would like to know whether we are gaining anything from the present budget. And most importantly, whether we are getting any PLI scheme which is initiated by the present government. Rest I don't want to ask because my predecessors, shareholders, my wife has asked you questions in detail. So I would like to stop here, wishing you personally, all the board members, and more importantly, all the employees, all the very best in the days and years to come. We are in the midst of a festive season also. So I wish each one of you all a very happy festive season and looking forward for the grand celebration of our 25th year. So looking forward for it. So I end my speech wishing you good luck, good health, and goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, Mr. Suresh Jain, since he has already spoken, so we are moving to the next speaker, Mr. Bimal Kumar Agarwal. May I request Mr. Bimal Kumar Agarwal to kindly unmute yourself and speak. Over to you, Mr. Bimal. So, sir, we are not getting any input from Mr. Bimal, so we are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Hardik Indermal Jain. May I request Mr. Hardik Indermal Jain ji to kindly unlock yourself, switch on your camera and speak.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I have a couple of questions. So what revenue do we see for us to reach in next 2-3 years? Can we expect 11% of EBITDA margins to be sustainable? And my last question is on what is the current order book and in how much time it has to be completed? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Aarti Jain. Sorry, sir. Aarti Jain has not joined. So we are moving to next speaker, Mr. Abhishek Jain. I'm not finding Mr. Abhishek Jain here. So we are moving to the next speaker, Mr. P. Jaychand. May I request Mr. P. Jaychand to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your camera and speak. Mr. P. Jaychand. Sorry, sir, we are not getting any proof, Mr. P. Jaychand. So we are moving to our next speaker, Archana J. Archana Ji has not joined. So we are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Manoj Bagadia ji. May I request Mr. Manoj Bagadia ji to kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for the opportunity, sir. And it was a detailed and elaborate presentation. I've just got a few questions I would like to address. Since the revenue split was clear in the presentation, I would not like to touch upon it. So we've got two major wins that we've won in FY24. One is the CDAC HPC processor using the ARM architecture based on a 5 nanometer chip design of TSMC, and also the smart energy integrated circuit. So if you could briefly elaborate on the size of these contracts, because the CDAC HPC processor, I believe you said that it's a design phase contract, and since in chip there are multiple stages from design, testing to manufacturing. So probably which stage is this contract that you've received, and also the sizability of this contract, and also on the smart energy meter integrated circuit. So what is the, it would be great if you could also delve into, I mean, how since this is a turnkey project, so the IPs and how these orders work, and also the duration of this particular order. So coming to the DLI part, so the government has got this design link initiative scheme, which is mainly towards the medium enterprise on which are focusing on the designing part. So here the scheme was got in order to get the revenues of these companies to probably 1,500 crores in top, and this scheme is for about say 5 or 6 years. So I mean, what are the benefits that the scheme gives, and what benefits have we received from this scheme? The next one is so we've got a TSMC DCA membership. So if you could just elaborate upon what the membership is and the opportunities that we get using this membership, and how there are barriers to entries just on the basis of this membership. So what's the customer profile and the segments you've been dealing with? So since you've said that in the new growth areas, the data centers and contracts led with AI, IoT, and the new generation, new gen technology is going to increase with significant contribution from the auto, satellite, telecom space. So what are our customer profiles, and what changes have we seen across our customer profiles, and what is the ambitious customer profile that we want to target for just the customer stickiness and long-term contracts? So from the basic, what I understand is the chip design, it's a very long process. It's right from the design phase to testing to execution and to production. So, and even after the chip design, there are multiple software led services that are being given into this into these contracts in order to optimize the program softwares related to that particular chips. So since you've elaborated a lot upon the chip design part and the turnkey project part, so it would also be great if you could also elaborate upon the service part. Are we there present in this particular thing? So, and what are the usual contracts and the customer sizes contracts that we receive from this service led part of the vertical? So if you could also elaborate upon the projects. I mean, there are two verticals. Briefly, what are the project sizes that you take across two verticals, and what are the average the project contracts? So since in one of the YouTube videos, you've clearly said that, I mean, you've come a long way, right from making multiple companies, selling it off, and probably establishing this company into a significant size. And you've also landed a few engineering contracts, as well as contracts in the defense and aerospace. So the defense and aerospace industry as such is got very high entry to barriers. And once if a company gets approval to such partners, it's a long way in terms of getting orders and just increasing the size of the order. So since you've worked with Airbus and probably few more other customers I may not be aware of, so if you could just briefly touch upon what kind of contracts you've executed out here. So lastly, upon the Chip Act that's come in the United States, and how a lot of friendshoring and onshoring is happening, and US is trying to attract a lot of manufacturing of microchips back, where Intel is put in, Microsoft, Amazon, etc. are also planning to have chip designs and get it contract manufactured for their in-house use, as well as the data centers and the AI-led data centers. So if you could briefly touch upon the opportunity out there, because we've made a software-led acquisition in the US, and also we were also open to a number of inorganic opportunities in the United States. So if you could briefly touch upon this. Since it's a $200 billion aid that the US government has been giving, and if companies like us can benefit from part of the aid, or our customers can benefit from this aid. So, and lastly, the question, the new opportunities that you've touched upon. One is the emulation in the semicon side, and also the digital engineering, where you believe that there's a very high I mean, total addressable market. So, I mean, if you could just describe about the total addressable market, the size that we're looking at, and what would be the restrictions for us in terms of growth. One is the the employee attrition rate. That is one of the challenges that the industry faces. So, other than that, what is the kind of scale that we can see based on the current size and setup? So so thank you for the opportunity, and it was amazing interacting with you. I will just fall back.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Redappa Gundrulu. May I request Mr. Redappa Gundrulu to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your camera and speak. Mr. Redappa. Sorry, sir. Mr. Redappa is not responding. So we are moving to the next speaker, Mr. K. Bharatraj. Mr. K. Bharatraj has not joined. So we are moving to the next speaker, P. Shama Sundari. Sorry, sir, we are not finding P. Shama Sundari has joined. So we are moving to the next speaker, Mr. Ramesh Shankar Gola. Again. Mr. Ramesh Shankar Gola is not responding. So we are moving to the next speaker, Mr. Mihil Anil Thakkar. May I request Mr. Mihil Thakkar to kindly unmute yourself and speak. Mr. Mihir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, most of my questions has been covered by previous participants. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. So we are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Afzal Ur Rahman Sufi Muhammad. May I request Mr. Afzal kindly unmute yourself and switch on your camera. Sorry, sir, Mr. Afzal has not joined. So we are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Manjeet Singh. May I request Mr. Manjeet Singh to kindly unmute yourself and speak. Mr. Manjeet. We are not getting input from Mr. Manjeet. So we are moving to our next speaker, Mr. Anwar Rahman or Sufi Sahab. He is not joined. Mr. Alois Peter Mascarenhas has already given the opportunity, so I'm not calling his name again. And then the speaker is Sarju, Mr. Sarju Javeri ji. May I request Mr. Sarju Javeri to kindly unmute yourself and speak. Over to you, Mr. Sarju. Sorry, sir, we are not getting any response from Mr. Sarju. So we are.
Yeah, can you?
Sorry, sir. Sorry. Mr. Sarju, please speak. Mr. Sarju, please speak.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Yeah. Good evening to all the board of directors and Mr. Suresh, our company secretary, is always helpful in all my queries and setting up everything. And my fellow shareholders. First, congratulations for completing 25th year and 25th anniversary. It was a big journey. Even I have seen ups and downs, and fortunately and luckily we have reached a good point where at least my 10, 12 years of investment, I feel satisfied and content. Coming back to the questions, I got few questions. First one is, what are the plans and strategy to increase sales and value addition? And can you elaborate about the digital engineering, which I'm hearing for the first time, and I'm not really aware about that part. Second part is, we are basically a service provider company. So any plan in launching our own product where the main money lies in the product and bigger value addition in the product than providing our services. Third point is, when will our HPC CDEC order will start showing in our quarterly results, and roughly what amount can we expect every quarter? Next one is regarding the DLI in the smart meter. Can you throw some light when we got some breakthrough, some clients, or at what stage our smart meter thing is there, whether we have started selling it to the smart meter manufacturer or what? And yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for a good thing.
Thank you, sir. With this, we have completed calling out all the speaker shareholders. Handing over proceedings back to the chair. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, shareholders. Thank you for your questions. I request our MD and CEO, Mr. Sriniwas, to give his responses. Like many of the shareholders mentioned, a lot of this information was already in the presentation. Some things are confidential, like we don't want to reveal things like our names of our clients, which is proprietary information, which may impact how our competitors deal with these subjects. So we have normally not talked about who our clients are, what are our business books with them, some of them which will adversely impact the company. Though the shareholders may be interested to know that, it's better to always read about them in the annual reports rather than disclose them upfront and face some maybe a little bit of difficulty later on when the competitors get to know what our strategies and what our client books and what our book order is looking like. So those will remain confidential. I request shareholders to understand that position and cooperate with us, that we are not able to provide that specific amount of detail because it's not in the interest of the company. Other than that, I will request our MD to give responses to some of the other questions that have been raised.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, sir. Let me go in the order the questions were actually asked. Srikanth Jawarji basically asked about the future, the 2-year growth plan. Again, in my presentation, I basically talked about a few things. We will continue to focus on the design services in the 2 segments that we work, and we've also added emulation in Semicon BU and digital engineering in software BU. And apart from this, we are going to focus on the turnkey ASICs, and of course the CDAC project execution and smart energy meter IC development is something that we are going to focus. And Praful Chawda ji wanted to understand the benefits that we are getting from government. And again, as I said in the presentation, we applied under DLI scheme for the development of smart energy meter IC, and our application was actually approved, and it was approved in June, and we started working on the smart energy meter IC development for the smart energy meter applications. And again, there are a few other questions related to smart energy meter. This smart energy meter IC is actually going to be a product that is going to be sold by Moschip, right? It is going to be our own product. As part of this product development, as I said, we are going to develop some IPs also, and the product is going to be sold on Moschip name, and this is going to be sold to the OEMs, who would provide smart energy meters to the end users. And if you want to look at the kind of market that we basically have for smart energy meter ICs, it is expected that I think there are about 60 million smart energy meter ICs are expected to be required by 2028 in India, and about 2 billion smart energy meter ICs internationally. Okay, so that is something that I wanted to talk about smart energy meter ICs. And coming to Aloysius Peter Mascarenhas, there are a few questions that the couple has actually asked, and one is the physical report. I think Suresh is going to take care of it. And out of the 12 new customers, they wanted to understand how many of them are here, and what is the geo spread, right? Most of these customers are based out of US, and we started servicing them. And revenue split from semiconductors and software. Again, in the Jairam's presentation, you would have actually seen in FY24, 78 to 79% of our revenue is coming from semicon, and software is about 22% at this point in time, and that is only expected to grow. And the average experience of the team, our average experience is about 4 to 5 years, and MIS it is not a business unit. It is basically an R&D and innovation training center for us. And MISS is actually used to train our campus hires and feed to the BUs. That is the role of MISS that Mascarenhas couple wanted to understand. And again, there was a question on digital engineering, and I would like to actually address it one time. I mean, digital engineering is nothing but supporting some of these devices and products and connecting them intelligently. And for that, there is going to be AI, generative AI, and ML kind of algorithms are actually going to be used. And cloud computing and IoT and mobile apps is another area that the digital engineering is going to basically have. Some of the shareholders wanted to understand the turnkey ASIC projects. Again, I mean, turnkey, when we say turnkey ASIC project, it actually means that we start from either design or specification of the design all the way to delivering the end product, right? And silicon. So those are the turnkey ASICs. In chip design cycle, there are various basically functions that you basically have: design, verification, implementation, manufacturing, bring up, software, basically porting, and then delivering the end product. And while we provide design services in any of these functions, but turnkey projects would actually give us an opportunity to serve our customers end to end, right? So that addresses the turnkey question. And the geopolitical issues. I mean, the geopolitical issue that the world is actually facing is expected to actually help us, India. I mean, over the last couple of years, if you actually see the global spend, the spending by a lot of MNC companies in India is actually growing. So that is going to provide us with a lot more opportunities, right? Then coming to Manoj Bagadia ji, he wanted to understand the scope of the CDAC project. See, the CDAC project is, at a very high level, the scope is defined by CDAC, but it is Moschip and its partner Socionext are expected to work on the architecture of the chip and the design, IP integration, validation, pre-silicon validation, then post-silicon validation, and developing the reference boards and porting software and delivering the end product to CDAC. That is the scope of the project. And Manoj wanted to understand the TSMC DCA membership advantage. TSMC DCA membership, what that membership actually means is that TSMC is endorsing us as a design services company, where the fabless semicon companies who would like to go to TSMC can come to Moschip and then get their chips done, right? Because TSMC is endorsing that. I mean, we have solid flows in place, and we have taped out enough chips targeting to TSMC. That is what that is the advantage the DCA membership has. And Manoj wanted to understand the customers and their areas of function. The customers that we basically have, they are into gaming, consumer electronics, client SOCs, data centers, IoT, and wireless, wired networking, communication, and computing. I mean, these are the various areas of functions that our customers actually function in. Right, the work we do in design services. Again, as I said, in a chip design cycle, there are lots of front and back end work for both the digital and analog hardware. We provide design services for our customers. And then what is the advantage that the CHIPS Act in the US can actually bring to Moschip as a company, right? So I mean, under CHIPS Act, I mean, a lot of companies are actually getting a lot of incentives, and there are new fabs that are being built, new fabs and a new technology. For example, Intel is setting up fabs. That is a new technology. Whenever there is a new technology, a lot of IPs need to be ported to the new technology and new fab. Those IP porting projects, I mean, we have, I mean, there is a great opportunity for us to basically service some of those IP porting opportunities. And the incentives will prompt these fabulous semicon companies to do, I mean, more products. When there are more products, then there is going to be more opportunity for design services companies. Right, on the emulation and digital engineering, I mean, I talked about the digital engineering, and Manojji wanted to understand what, I mean, emulation is. See, emulation is basically a pre-silicon validation, and it is gaining a lot of momentum. I mean, this function has actually been there. A lot of product companies use emulation to do pre-silicon validation on their chips before they tape out. And because the chips are becoming so much complex, and emulating your chip in a hardware before it is taped out is something that is gaining a lot of importance. And as a design services company, we started investing in that area, and we are forging some partnership with emulation providing what I call tool vendors, and we would like to build that expertise and service our customers. And coming to Saju Javeri, I mean, I have answered his question on the digital engineering on the sales side. I mean, we've been, as I said, we have strengthened our leadership in business development as well. This company is actually growing, and we realize the importance of growing our sales, and we have added business development people in the US, and we have also signed up sales representatives in some of the geographies that we wanted to focus. And on the smart energy meter IC status that Sajuji wanted to understand. See, under DLI scheme, we got the approval, and smart energy meter IC development is underway, and it is going to take what I call a few quarters before it can actually be productionized. And we will keep all our valued shareholders posted on the progress we make on this smart energy meter IC. Okay, and the CDAC HPC revenues, when they would actually start showing up. The project has kicked off on July 1st, and the revenues from a HPC project are going to show up from this quarter, Q2, right? July, August, September quarter. I think that's all I have to cover. Jairam, can you actually cover the rest of the stuff?
Yeah, sure, Case. So let me come in order. Okay. You're able to hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Srikanji has asked us the split between domestic and international market. So right now, as we speak, I think our revenue split is technically around 80-20 or 82 to 18 with respect to US dollar, INR, or US to India, or globally to India. The second one is Praful Chawda's G's questions. Everything is answered by KS. Then Alokesh Peter Mescronos ma'am has asked about our market share and things like that. But again, as Chairman Ji told earlier, that there are a lot of data which is cannot be shared at this point of time. But a few other data, like how do you manage about MISs and about margins and other things, I think the CEO has answered appropriately. And what are the incentives that the government has given? Yes, of course. So we were eligible for DLI scheme, since predominantly we are a design-linked incentive company, design company. So we took advantage of it, and the funds came in for will come in for the smart meter chip, which KS has asked for. Of course, we are talking about the order book. It's a more of a data futuristic in nature. So probably the Hardik Ji has asked for the data. So that's what we couldn't share. And yeah, I think DLI benefit we spoke, and I think most of the questions, Case, were covered by you. I think these were the only things which were left out. And yeah, of course, we covered everything more or less.
Thank you, Jairam.
Right.
Over to you, Chairman Ji.
Yeah, thank you, KS and Jairam. That was very good. This completes the question and answer session, and I hope the shareholders take this positively. We are grateful to the shareholders who attended this AGM through video conference. The board of directors appointed Messrs. BSS and Associates, practicing company secretaries, Hyderabad, as scrutinizers for the e-voting process. I hope all the shareholders participated in the e-voting process. Further, I hereby authorize Mr. Suresh Bachalkura, Company Secretary, to declare the results along with scrutinizers' report within 2 working days of the conclusion of this meeting. Mr. Suresh is also authorized to submit voting results to the stock exchange and place the same in the Moschip website. The resolution set forth in the notice has been deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of requisite number of votes. Before I conclude, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the employees of the company for their continuous support and hard work in the success of your company. All the items of today's AGM have now been transacted. Thank you for attending this meeting. And with this, I formally conclude the 25th AGM of your company. Suresh?
Yeah, thanks, Chairman sir. Thanks to the board of directors for attending this meeting. Thanks to the finance and admin department for making the necessary arrangement for successful conduct of this meeting. Thanks to the KFintech team, especially Praveen sir, for providing all the support for the successful conduct of this meeting. Lastly, thanks to all the shareholders who joined this meeting through the video conference. Thank you all. Praveen sir, you can conclude. You can close the meeting, sir. Thank you.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye.